Guess what I'm drinking, and I want somebody to take a good guess. It's not exactly what you expect it to be. But take a good guess. It's the type of tea. Well, it's the type of tea. Not the type of tea you would think would be. It take a very wild guess. But this video, I wanted to talk about at home and growing up versus going into the world. So, for me, when I started working, I kind of started realizing things about how I grew up, in people. Because at home, people were a certain way. People were scary. People were unpredictable. And just a whole lot going on. At home, in a sense, I was being told the sky is pink. But then once I started working and became a teenager, and then further out into adulthood, as I meet more people and went to several different jobs, even worked in customer service, which means, obviously you're gonna be talking to dozens of people a day. I realized when I go out into the outside world, they're telling me the sky is blue. But when I go home, I'm being told the sky is pink. And that's not an actual thing. I'm saying it figuratively. But I just kind of realized, like, there's a difference here in how, oh my God, I think a eyelash is stuck. 1 second. But I realized, like, okay, there's a difference here in the outside world with how I'm being treated versus at home and with family. I'm like, this feels, over here feels a little better. So I started to realize that what 3 people over here at home might be saying versus 10 people telling me this. So, like, let's just say, for example, at home, being called slow. But when I go into the world, these people think I'm a genius. I was confused. And so it was just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of things that I had to slowly realize. What they have been telling me at home was not true. And I had to do the math. I'm like, if 20 people are telling me this, and then 2 people over here telling me this, who should you believe? Obviously, we should believe the 20 people who I didn't ask, didn't do anything. They just brought up stuff on their own. And so, start to realize, things ain't right here. Something's not right. Because what I'm getting over here is different than over here. And so, for me, in my life, outside, and I was a very observant person. outside, I made sure to pay attention because I noticed things. I noticed how my life was a little bit different. I noticed how other women with like mom and daughters would go do regular shopping, but I was not doing regular shopping with my mom. Okay, we were not doing regular shopping. Like you would see most mom and daughters where they go shopping for clothes and go get this and go get that. That was not me. You know, I was just noticing things and how it was different, and I kind of held on to that and remembered those things in the back of my head. That's why I think I wasn't as so indoctrinated as some of my other family members were about our lifestyle and situations and mindset and thinking, because I paid attention to the outside world and I was always treated different. I was always treated different. And so that also added that to it. And I was treated different. And so on top of being treated different and seeing how the outside world viewed things, viewed me differently, very differently than at home. And some of these things don't always have to be in drastic ways. It could sometimes be in smaller ways, mindset wise. But yeah. And so a major part of healing for me was people. I realized that I was going to heal a lot more quicker if I did it with people. And so, I definitely went through the years of isolation and wanting to be by myself and this and that. But I had reached a certain point where I had realized that everybody can't be bad. Everybody can't be an abuser and a user. There has to be somebody who is sane. It's 8 billion people. There have to be a few couple of that all they screws are tied, it's screwed in. Everybody can't be crazy. So once I realized that mathematically, everybody cannot be crazy. Everybody cannot be a user, abuser, and predator. And I had to really open up myself to trust people, because at home, definitely learned that people were not safe. What is that? I think that's the fish tank. But definitely learned that people were not safe. And then a few times that I was in the outside world, I was put in some unsafe situations. I definitely grew up in an unsafe, not the safest side of town. There were definitely areas that were worse, but the only businesses that was there was Family Dollar and McDonald's and Jack in the Box. And no other businesses was around where I lived. So even though there wasn't a whole bunch of violence as it was in other areas, it definitely wasn't the best. Like where I lived, it was a lot more older, lower income black people. So because they were older, they weren't getting into a bunch of mess. They weren't trying to rob, steal, and kill, but they didn't have enough to do anything. So even though it wasn't the most dangerous, definitely still wasn't the nicest. Didn't have anything. Still had, crackheads on the street and all of that. And so I had to really, really go through a period of life where I had to trust myself and learn to trust other people. Luckily, I had ended up getting a job with some decent people and co-workers, and I was able to really work on my trust issues and being seen and being heard. And I started paying for support. I stopped trying to do everything on my own. So I didn't need to do everything on my own anymore. Started paying for support, started paying for help, started paying for therapy. But yeah, the main thing that I have learned was that the outside world may be beneficial, because I know it's a lot of y'all out there who are scared about the outside world and this and that. And another thing that I want to add here is that you'll see a lot of content online about how bad the world is and how downhill everything is going. If you're always listening to that kind of content, that's all you're going to ever be able to think about. You're going to be scared to open up your front door. You're going to be scared to have friendships. You're going to be scared to be in a relationship. You're going to be scared to go and travel. Bad things are going to happen. There has been no time in history where things have always been rainbows and sunshine. And sometimes people think that just because we're in 2025, that means that as a human society, we're supposed to have everything figured out. And that everything is supposed to be ultrasonic, safe, and locked down. That's not going to be the case. And you can't live your life being scared of if the boogeyman's gonna get you. And for me, because I remember I had a moment. Is the TV too loud? The music. Okay, turn it down. But for me, when I went through my situations that made me feel unsafe in the public world, and a lot of women experience it, like public harassment, it's harassment. No, it definitely makes you feel unsafe in the world. And I remember I had a moment that had triggered everything back up. And I was just bawling my eyes out, going through it. And I had to ask myself, I was like, what's going to make me feel safe? That no matter where I am, no matter who I'm with, no matter where I'm going, it's gonna make me feel safe. And I was like, and the little voice in my head spoke. And it was like, well, we need to learn how to protect ourselves. Emotionally, physically, financially. So, I didn't tell people my finances. Didn't tell people where I worked at, what kind of job I had. Stopped telling people that kind of stuff. Emotionally, stopped telling people who I knew didn't have the best of intentions. My business. I stopped telling people my business who I did not trust. I didn't care if they was blood or not. I did not care if they were family or not. If I didn't want you knowing my business, you're not gonna know my business. I stopped telling certain people emotional things, and not because in a shut down way, because I would be open. I would be open, I would be vulnerable with people who earned that level of trust. And then physical safety, I wouldn't got in self-defense classes. I wouldn't got my license to carry. I went and did some other things. So, yeah. So I was like, nobody's gonna be able to get me. You're not gonna be able to get me. And so that helped me a lot. And feeling safe in the world and being able to be held and supported by people. And realizing that everybody is not crazy. I just grew up in a crazy household that skewed my view of the world, making me think that everybody is crazy. And because I grew up in a household where everybody was crazy, I was unfortunately subconsciously going into environments where there was crazy people, because that's all I had lived with all my life, was unhinged people. Generational cycles that we're trying to repeat. I put it into that. Putting into it. And I've learned that it's much quicker to heal when you're doing it with other people, because it's very hard to get to the next level when all you're doing is trying to do self-improvement in your room, in your bed. You eventually need to go out into the outside world and just start living. Start seeing, because if you stay in that room, if you stay in that bed, you're gonna miss so much. You're gonna miss beautiful relationships. You're gonna miss beautiful friendships. You're gonna miss traveling. You're gonna miss just the joy of just seeing little kids. Like, for me, it has been like so healing just going to the park and just watching like little kids run around and get to be, kids, and get to be who they are, and not have to be an adult as a little kid, as a 6, 7. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. 6, 7, 9-year-old having being an adult. So it's very healing, like when I go out into the outside world and I just get to see little kids being little kids and having a good time. Like, it's definitely healing when I get to go into the world. Oh, I did not expect to get emotional. It's very healing when I get to go out into the world and get to see girls who have a positive relationship with their moms, just out shopping, having a good time, going to brunch together, going and doing activities together, getting dressed up and going to like the opera and stuff, and going to little concerts and things like that. It's getting like to do prom stuff. So go outside. Go outside. Go be a part of the world. And another thing, while I'm already emotional, traveling definitely has been a major healing factor. It definitely changed some of the relationships that I had with my family, like certain family members. Remember, we went on a trip together, and that trip completely changed our relationship since then, because we got to get up out of the environment that we were always used to, this toxic environment, in our family. And we got to go somewhere that was new to us, that was fun, and just have a good time. It made so many memories, and that changed the entire trajectory of our relationship, because we were able to get up out of that environment that we was always used to dealing with each other with. This environment that was riddled with trauma, stagnation. And so literally getting on the plane and just and going somewhere else. It was crazy to see how that was the catalyst to me healing my relationships. So get outside, go do stuff, go be a part of the world. Work on feeling safe. Work on, listening to affirmations about feeling safe. Try some techniques on, reprogramming your mind. And I can't tell you what will work for you. For me, affirmations and subliminals work the best. And then they're just going out and doing the thing. Those are the two best things that work for me. And then also, I can't remember what it's called, but for like a minute and 7 seconds, you say a sentence over and over and over and over and over again, and you try not to think about anything else. So that also helps. But yeah, work on building safety and trust, because if you sit in that room all day, you stay inside the house all day, don't do nothing, if you're scared of people, don't want to go into the outside world, you're gonna miss out on a lot of beautiful things. Don't let somebody else who took advantage of you and made you feel scared, don't let them have that kind of power years later. Like, predators, they depend on people going into isolation mode. Abusers depend on people going into isolation mode. Because once you shut down and you remove yourself from the world, nobody will hear your story. And they will 9 times out of 10 get away with whatever they done. And they'll go and repeat it to the next person and the next person and the next person. So don't sit there stuck in isolation for years. Sometimes it's good. It's definitely been times where I needed the entire world to stop. To stop moving, to just completely shut down. But you cannot stay in that place for forever. Go outside. Observe the outside world. Take notes on how it's different from how you grew up. You know, the way that I live now is definitely not how I grew up. The lifestyle that I get to have now is nowhere near how I grew up. The money I get to have now, the relationships that I get to have now, the beauty that I get to have now was nowhere near how I grew up. So, your outside world is important. It can teach you a lot. It can be your saving grace. It can heal you. And everybody's not bad. Everybody is not a predator, abuser. Everybody's not that. They're good people. You just need to make sure that you're a match for those good people. Because if you're always worried about negative people, that's all you're going to get is negative people. You have to make yourself somebody that good people want to be around. You can't be a toxic person and think that good people in good situations are going to find you. So, that's pretty much it. I definitely got more emotional than I wanted to get. But I hope I got the message across. So, I shall see you guys next time.